What did you do?
I don't know.
Fantastic content. All right, let's see if we get some eyeballs in there.
Let the people see what's up.
Oh man.
Oh, this is incredible. Should never give me this platform.
I feel like you're already ready to did you say... Yeah, you're gonna have fun with this, I see.
Why would I not?
Points were made.
I got 2 cups of water.
Oh no. Well, you have your 2 cups. I am finishing up my gallon.
Oh, what stage are you on? Good job.
I'm at almost there. I'm at 7 p.m. Granted, I didn't start until like 11-ish. So I'm on schedule. It just doesn't look that way.
The sentence you just said does not make sense.
What do you mean?
I'm on schedule, but it doesn't look that way.
Yeah, because the thing starts at freaking 7 a.m. and I wasn't up at 7 a.m. So if you push it back a few hours.
That's not how the jug works, though.
What do you
mean? It's 7 p.m. and it's 2 hours later. 3 hours later, actually.
I'm not doing this. I can't do this. We have over 100 eyeballs in here. We get some comments going. The first comment is Big Mad, by the way. So you're welcome. You have officially made this a thing.
That hashtag 1 is not often used, which is a big win.
Mm-hmm.
Also, why I'm overusing it. Also, you get big mad a lot, so it's just like a huge W for everyone.
I just don't think I get big mad a lot. I'm going to be honest with you.
I mean, click on the hashtag.
That's not a fair barometer, I don't think. Because if I express anything that isn't positivity, then you hit me with the hashtag, and I don't think that's how that's supposed to work.
That's 1,000% how that's supposed to work.
I can't say that I like it. Anyway, hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first Dunker Spot live show. I am Nekias Duncan, Nekias NBA, as you can see on the screen. Joined, as always, by Steve Jones Jr. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited to be here. Glad y'all have joined us.
Well, before we even dig into the trade stuff, any thoughts from Heat Blazers? Because that was one fantastic game.
It was a great game. You could see Tyler Hero, no longer Tyler Villain. But you saw the impact Trevor Ariza had. You saw what Portland does, man. They just find a way to win. It's not like it's great defense, not like it's amazing offense. They just, in a close game, are going to find a way to beat you. And that, I don't know how you quantify that. Like, it's a reason why I believe in them, but it's also a reason why it's like you can't sustain that. Mm-hmm. So, but it was good to see Miami score again. I will say that.
Yeah, it's nice to see the shooters making shots. Like, Tyler Hero had himself a game. It was nice to see Duncan Robinson knocking down shots off her handoffs again, flying off of screens. I almost tweeted about this. I think it was like a third quarter stretch where the Heat targeted Enes Kanter like every trip down the floor. And I was going to tweet about it, but I already knew I was going to get hit with some kind of hashtag or some sort of retort from you. So I withheld from that. But it was pretty funny.
No, there's no big mad on Kanter. I don't know why they keep him in a drop the way they do. So if you want to put him at the level and have him drop back, that's fine. But he's just a sitting duck when they do that. Like, I get Miami doesn't have all the pull-up shooters in the world and you can stay at home, but you're not getting what you need out of it. Like, he's not protecting the rim. You're still giving up layups and dunks and threes and lobs. So what are we doing? That's my criticism. Just mix it up. Because he can be active. He can do it. Just nah. Yeah, he's solid enough to be able to be at the level and fall back. He could do that. He could be solid. That's a hell of a comment. Hold on. Steve has more dad energy than I thought first time seeing his face. 1, my face is on my bio. 2, I am a dad. So what do you like this?
The energy fits, I guess. I don't know what that means either, but I'll take it.
That's a W. That's a good shot from the Raptors. Well done.
Got to go early.
That's fancy, by the way. You can click the comments and show up on the screen. I like that.
Yeah. StreamYard is a fantastic platform. See if we can get
should do this.
Go on.
We should do this more often.
All right. It's just got to let the listeners know that we are pigeonholed into late games since you have responsibilities to take care of earlier in the day.
Dad energy. So unless you want like me to be mad distracted,
I feel like I would enjoy that.
I wouldn't.
And that's exactly why the viewers would enjoy that.
I see. Nice flip. Well done.
There's the bit. All right, so I don't think we're going to dig too deep into Lakers Sixers.
What? Who's the big for the Sixers right now? Because they traded our boy Tony Bradley away.
They did, in fact, trade Tony Bradley away. So it's Dwight Howard?
Mike Scott?
Are we sure?
I mean, who else could it be? I mean, Ben Simmons, maybe?
We got a Paul Reed comment. I mean, if they want to throw B-Ball Paul out there, then why not? I don't know if Doc Rivers is going to do that.
What'd you say? B-Ball Paul?
That's what they call him. That's not what I call him, but that's still venture into Sixers Twitter. Or I guess Delaware Blue Coats. I believe that's the G League affiliate. We have lost Steve already. Steve is not feeling B-Ball Paul. Okay.
We're going to have to revisit B-Ball Paul, man. I'm sorry.
Look, man, I am just relaying what I read. That it's actually a thing. You have to take that up with Sixers Twitter if you don't like it. But anyway, not going to dig too deep into the actual game of Lakers Sixers, but we can bring them up because there was a non-trade. Kyle Lowry is remaining a Raptor. The Lakers made offers. The Sixers made offers, but we're not sure exactly how far they want to go with those offers. Do you feel like either of those teams missed the ball by not trading for Kyle Lowry?
I don't. Now, obviously, it's one of those things where I can understand why you would want to get a Kyle Lowry and how you can see his value. I thought he really could have helped the Sixers. He could have helped the Lakers, especially right now. But I can understand a team saying, hey, we think we're pretty good. We're not going to break the bank to bring him in right now. There's a chance we can get him at a different point in time. So, I think a lot of the energy was, and I think I got killed on this for Twitter when I was just like, hey, why would these teams break the bank for him? Like, if I'm Miami, I'm going to hold on to Tyler Hero. If I can get Kyle Lowry on the low, I'll take it. But if I can't, I'm fine. If I'm the Lakers, I don't want to give you Schroeder, KCP, and THT. Kyle Lowry's great, but that's a lot for him. So I was intrigued by the teams that it was very evident that everyone was trying to get him on the low, like very, very evident. And it was very evident that Toronto kind of realized that and was like, we're just going to move Norm Powell.
We're going to dig into Norm Powell a little bit later, but I definitely get not wanting to give up the farm for Kyle Lowry. I feel like if he already had another year tacked on to his deal, I think that's an easier bet to make. With him being unrestricted, you would kind of have to figure out. I mean, I think the price was something 2 years in the $55-60 million range is what he was looking for. And I could see where there would be some pause in doing that. I will say from the Lakers' perspective, I think they probably could have afforded to include THT in a deal there.
Oh, we are getting some THT slander.
This is not THT slander.
Hashtag THT slander.
If I see one THT slander, hashtag in the comments. But no, seriously, I think the Lakers were more equipped to make that bet. Like, they're closer to a title than Miami is. So I think they could afford to make that push. I mean, first and foremost, they need someone to generate some. There it is. They need someone to generate some offense while LeBron is out for the next month and a half or whatever it is, and while Anthony Davis is out for the next 2-3 weeks. And I think Kyle Lowry could inject the level of energy, some pull-up shooting that they just don't have, and just some half-court randomness that they could use. I think just in general, he's definitely an upgrade over Dennis Schroeder. KCP has had a very uneven season. And while I like THT, I don't know. The context for him is weird for this Lakers team. And this is what I keep getting back to when they talk about like Andre Drummond and other players being added to the team. They can't really shoot. Like the Lakers roster is missing out on shooting. So it's hard to optimize the guys that they want to bring in. Like if you're making the argument that Andre Drummond could add something as a role man, which I'm not going to go too deep into that. But what space is he rolling into right now? Like THT can get downhill and make some plays for you, but what space does he really have to operate with? So I'm not sure he's in a spot to where he can be maximized. And if he's not going to be maximized, I'm not sure if he's the type of asset that you withhold in a trade for like Kyle Lowry. Oh, we are getting some Drummond comments.
Yeah. The mere mention of Andre Drummond has brought the Nekias maniacs out. Go ahead. Cup it. Come on. Give it to him.
That's no. Like that's just kind of tough.
Well, my issue is, say they did the deal for Lowry and they give up those pieces. You've got some guard wing issues now. That I didn't like that part of it. So I can understand them wanting to try and at least keep what they got and hopefully get healthy. So I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Well, watch Toronto make a run now. Mike Scott starting lineup, by the way. Called it. Point Steve.
I will give you the point. I guess good for him. Gonna be nice to see him try to stretch the floor. It's been a really weird season for Mike Scott too. Sixers Twitter has not had a fun time with Mike Scott this year.
I don't know if he's had a fun time either. I don't think he's had a fun time either.
Yeah. Can't say that I get it. And from the Sixers side, were you okay with them not putting Maxey and or Tybal in there?
Yeah, I got it. I mean, you keep your wing depth. So I understood not going all in for Lowry. And if you could get George Hill for the price that you got him for, then let's roll the dice. Let's see what we got. And hopefully he can stabilize. And we may not hit the max ceiling, but we can at least get some more point guard play, stabilize that second unit, and see what we got. I mean, that was a thumbs up. As soon as they traded for George Hill, I knew the Lowry seasoning was not going to Philly.
Wow. I don't know if I want to give you that one yet. I'm going to be honest. Let me simmer on that one for a little bit. I like the George Hill move. I don't love it as much as other people do. Like my feel for that is George Hill makes them better, but I'm not sure he helps them where they really need the help. Because
pause.
Go ahead.
I'm going to pause you real quick. Actually, no, keep going. I'll bring that back up. Someone remind me to bring that back up in the chat. Remind me.
Like I think Philly needed some off the dribble juice. And I don't think George Hill provides that. He does provide some shooting for you. He does help you direct some sets. But your best option off the dribble right now is still Tobias Harris. And that's good. I don't know if that's title good. So I think settling for George Hill and not going in for Kyle Lowry, it wouldn't surprise me if Philadelphia feels that later in the postseason, because I don't think George Hill feels the void that they need him to fill. What were you going to say?
No, I agree. I'll push my point to later, but I think that's my biggest concern with Philly is who's going to take the perimeter shot down 5, down 3. It's Tobias, and that's it. So that's why I was thinking Lowry would really help them. Also, for those watching Sixers-Lakers, Marc Gasol looks pretty good. A lot of handoffs, a lot of movement. Hit a 3.
Helping the offense a little bit.
And Danny Green hit a 3. I think you owe him an apology as well.
I don't think I owe him an apology. Why do I owe Danny Green?
You called him You called him a bum.
I did call him a bum.
You called him a bum. I don't have proof, but you did it.
If you don't have proof, why are you making that accusation? That's not how that works at all. Absolutely not.
You called him Danny Lean.
Now I want to turn my screen off. Absolutely not. Not dealing with that. Absolutely not. Anyway, who is your big winner for today? Which team improved the most today?
Jeez, I mean, that's a tough question. I had Miami, and I had Denver, so I'll go with Denver to start. When you're able to get JaVale McGee and add to the bench rotation, add to the bench defense, open up things for that second unit, that's a big win over Hartenstein. And then you add Aaron Gordon, who kind of slides into that Jeremy Grant role you've been missing. I like his skill set the most in Denver. I didn't want to see him on a team where he had to carry the load. I want to see him slide in and be able to play off the ball, get some movement, cut, dribble penetration, defense. He's got less than low for Paul Millsap. Slide in, help Michael Porter Jr. So I like what he could do. I mean, imagine him cutting as Jokic is at the high post or in the post. That could be some fun times. So Denver's my big winner right off the rip, but I thought the majority of the teams won, in my opinion. I thought there were a lot of good trades. I liked a lot of the trades that happened today.
I feel you. Oh, I will hop in on the Miami point because I think I was torn between Miami and Chicago as the big winner, But I think those are my top two in some order. Miami getting Victor Oladipo without giving up any of their top assets is a win.
Big W.
Like, I could just roaming Heat Twitter. I could see them getting antsy as we hit 3:00, and there was no Kyle Lowry update after basically feeling like Lowry was going to Miami. But once the Victor Oladipo news came through, it was just like it was a collective celebration down the timeline. For Duncan Robinson and or Tyler Hero to be in trade talks for the last 48, 72 hours, Miami keeps Hero, they keep Robinson, they keep Kendrick Nunn, they keep Precious Achua, they keep KZ Okpala, and they still land the guy. Oh, we're not doing this with KZ. Come on now.
I didn't catch the last name, so
I'm sure you heard what the last name was. It's fine.
Sorry.
But for them to keep all of their young pieces and only lose really one rotation player in Kelly Olynyk, because Avery Bradley just hasn't played for them this year. So to only lose really Olynyk and then there's a pick swap next year, that's a big W. And even before making that move, it's Nemanja Bjelica for Mo Harkless, who has completely flopped, and Chris Silva, who didn't really play and didn't have much of a long-term future in Miami to begin with.
Ooh, you let those takes fly on those two. You had those sitting.
I did not have those sitting.
Yeah, Mo Harkless.
I was expecting good things from Mo Harkless this year. I thought he was going to be able to replicate 75, 80% of what Jay Crowder did. And the percentage was much lower than that this season, I would say. And again, Chris Silva just hasn't had a role for the team. I didn't expect him to have a role for the team anyway. Once you consider the front court rotation, it was going to be Bam Adebayo. Well, before the year, you thought maybe Myers Leonard would have a role like he started last year, just kind of a spot starter. And he had injuries and then had some other stuff going on. So between Leonard, Adebayo, Kelly Olynyk, they draft Precious Achua, it was hard to see where Chris Silva was going to get minutes anyway. But Miami got a legitimate third big for two players that weren't in their long-term plans as well. And the report seems to be that LaMarcus Aldridge is going to be joining Miami at some point, maybe this weekend or shortly after. So Miami has done a great job of injecting the roster with talent without giving up anything of consequence. And if you can do that, you do that 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah, that's the biggest W. They're able to turn those pieces into valuable pieces. Nemanja, I knew something was coming. You didn't need him on this roster, so someone was moving. But you add Victor Oladipo without giving up the other pieces. That's the biggest part. That enhances, to me, what he can bring to the table. He can still score. He's not at the same level, but 2.5 level scorer, someone who can put pressure on the defense if he has it going, and someone who can fit into this team. He's not necessarily going to take away from what Bam and Jimmy are doing. He's going to have a role where he can be enhanced, but Jimmy probably welcomes it as far as having someone who can take the shot. You don't have to depend just on Dragic, just on Hero. It's going to loosen some things up depending on who has it going. So in long term, I mean, you get a chance to get your hands on a guy you probably have mutual interest with. I thought Bobby Marks made a great point. Your medical team gets his hands on him to see exactly what's going on there. So you get to see, hey, is this worth it to make the next step? And you can get that buy-in. You know the Miami culture, what it can do to players. So I'm interested to see what that looks like. And LaMarcus Aldridge, if you just casually adding LaMarcus Aldridge, Trevor Ariza, and Victor Oladipo to this team sounds insane, but Miami did it. So that's a great job. That's a great job for Miami.
There you go. So I would also add to the Oladipo front, he's definitely going to take some pressure off of Jimmy Butler. He's going to take a lot of pressure off of Goran Dragic because he's kind of been the lone driver of that second unit as a guy that can get to the rim. Because Tyler Hero has started and then he gets moved to the bench after an injury. And Hero has improved his rim volume. He's doing a better job of getting to the rim, kind of reading the defense and pick and roll. But Goran Dragic is your sledgehammer there. So with Victor Oladipo there, you don't have to rely on Dragic as much. I think it'll make it easier for Miami to kind of slow play things as the regular season continues. The schedule is going to be much tighter in the second half, more back-to-backs. So they could probably afford to just say, hey, we'll play Oladipo on the front half of a back-to-back. We'll play Dragic on the back end of the back-to-back. They can play it that way and have all those guys rested. So having that kind of depth is going to help them get through the season. And once you get into the postseason, they just have so much lineup flexibility now. They're going to be a pretty dangerous team in the East if they can stay healthy, I feel like.
Ooh, okay. Back on the Heat bandwagon. I see you.
They're better.
All you needed was some Victor Oladipo. I can't do it. Nope.
See, that should be telling you something. That the pun just isn't going to work.
You got to take the shots, man. What'd you think of the Bulls?
I was actually about to transition to Orlando. We can start with Chicago. I love Chicago.
No, let's go. What are we going to talk about Orlando? They got picks?
No, I mean, you said you had to take the shots. I was about to ask you who's taking shots in Orlando now. Because
that's actually a good question. I got to think about that. Who is taking the shots now?
Like it's Terrence Ross and Holmst.
Terrence Ross. There you go. That man's about to get busy.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of shots. I don't know how I feel about Orlando. Because in a vacuum, I love if they're going to trade Vucevic, getting 2 first-rounders and Wendell Carter Jr. is a pretty solid haul. But I don't love the context that Wendell Carter is going to be in. The guard play is a question mark. Like I like Markelle Fultz, I like Cole Anthony, but Fultz is out, and Cole Anthony is still very much trying to find his way. And then beyond that, who's spacing the floor for the team? Like Terrence Ross is there now, but I don't know if he's going to be there long term.
What's the difference between that and what he experienced in Chicago with that second unit? I mean, it's an opportunity for him. He's going to get the minutes. He's going to have the opportunity. He's going to be able to play. I think that's as key to his development as you can get right now.
Yeah, I guess. It's just, I don't know. Like, he's such a good passer. And I feel like that part of his game is going to be what's the beef with Wendell Carter as a passer? What's going on?
He wasn't that great in Chicago. Man couldn't make the reads out of pick and roll. The difference between Levine and Thad in pick and roll and Levine and Wendell Carter Jr. in pick and roll was stunning. And that's all I'll say.
I mean, Thad Young is better than Wendell Carter. I don't think that's a hot take.
Go ahead. My bad.
What's the
My bad.
What's let me speak your mind.
No, continue.
Anyway, I am worried about how cramped the floor is going to be in Orlando and what that offensive system is going to look like. And I'm not sure if Wendell Carter is in a position to really be maximized without some serious turnover with that Orlando roster. That was the only point I was trying to make.
Nothing. I don't know what they're going to run, but you got a young player, you got some picks, and they moved on from everyone. So what did you think of them giving up Fournier?
I get it. I'm kind of surprised that 2 seconds is the price. But, I mean, they were able to generate this massive trade exception out of it. So that gives them another option to acquire talent over the next calendar year. So that's cool. If you weren't going to re-sign him, getting something for him is fine. That's
solid. I want to see the Levine-Vucevic two-man game. Like, I want to see what that looks like because he is exactly what they need as far as all their offense goes. You can do so much with him, post him up, space him, pick and roll. He can make the passes. He can pop. He can, run him with dribble handoffs. It's a lot. So I want to see what that looks like. I think that's going to help them sustain offense where the fourth corner has basically been, hey, is Zach LaVine making plays and can you guard the LaVine-Thad pick and roll? Now you've got a whole different element. So I thought that was a big W for Chicago. And my first gut reaction was, it's a push for this year, but it's really a push for next year. Like, you have an opportunity to get that kind of talent. Probably not going to get them in the offseason. You make the move, you add to your core, and you see what you can go get going forward. So I got it. I liked it a lot from Chicago.
What do you think the defense is going to look like with Vooch at the 5?
An adventure. But what I would say is Vooch, he does have, he played for Steve Clifford. So he's not the worst defender in the world. I think he has enough as far as being able to contest in a drop or get to the level and drop back and position himself in a spot where the defense isn't going to be exploited. So I think you can survive with that. Now, if you're asking what does Vucevic and Lowry together look like, that would be interesting. I probably like Vucevic better with Thad defensively, but I like the other two better offensively. So it's going to be finding the right combination. But I expect him to be solid. I don't expect anyone to tweet Vucevic is going to be exploited over the next few weeks.
Yeah, like very quietly, he's become a fine drop defender. Like, he's not a major plus, but I don't think he's we opened up the show talking about Enos Cancer just kind of getting baked in a deep drop. He certainly isn't that. So if he can just kind of hold his own in the drop, I do think Chicago has enough length, has enough IQ around him to be able to kind of mix and match and save him there. So if you're pairing him with Thad Young, like, he's fantastic as a weak side helper. If you have Tomas Satoransky at the point of attack, like, that's a 6'6" dude with length. So even if he does get run into a screen, like, you have to worry about the rear view contest, you're still kind of funneling him inside, funneling the ball handler inside. So I don't think they're going to be easy looks being given up there. I do kind of worry about Chicago facing a good offense late in the game, and they just target LaVine and Vucevic and pick and roll over and over. Like, I do think doing that consecutively is going to put a lot of strain on the rest of those guys. So I'm going to be curious to see if Billy Donovan decides to, if he has the ability to go like offense, defense sub, like, does he want to downsize with that Young at the 5 and throw a bunch of length out there and switch everything, or do they kind of just want to stick with that drop with Vooch at the 5 and just kind of hope and rely on the help there?
Do you think they make the playoffs? That was a good question from the chat. Do you think they make the playoffs?
Probably. Let me pull up the standings just to make sure I'm not forgetting anyone.
Right now they're in 10th. They are a game and a half out of 8th. 2.5 games out of 6th.
Okay. And they are a game and a half ahead of Toronto, which is going to be interesting to track. I guess we'll just have to see what happens with Indiana, because I do kind of anticipate Toronto making a run. I think Boston and Evan Fournier is going to help them offensively, and they've needed some offensive help for some time now. So I think Boston's going to be in there. Toronto's going to be in there. Between Indiana and Charlotte, just seeing what happened, and I guess New York as well. I'm very curious to see what the offense is going to look like for New York. So between those three teams, kind of duking it out in the second half of the season, I would probably bet on Chicago to outclass at least one of them.
No, I mean the East is going to be a wild ride, but I like the push that they can make. I expect them to be in the play-in at least, so it'll be interesting. I think they'll hold off Toronto.
All right. Before we move off Chicago, do you want to inform the audience why you dislike Troy Brown Jr.?
That's a really loaded question that's not factual. I don't dislike Troy Brown Jr. I just thought your caping of Troy Brown Jr. was very interesting.
Is it caping?
I think you said what Troy Brown gets to make plays with the ball, 19 arrows. Something like that, right?
I don't know if that's what I said exactly. I did say that Chicago may have a steal on their hands if they let Troy Brown Jr. do some stuff with the ball. I do think he has some ball skill to explore. I think it's worth exploring on the second unit.
Okay. I mean, he couldn't do it for the Wizards, but it's okay.
I just don't know how much of that Wizard situation was him, because Scott Brooks has been doing weird stuff with that rotation all year long.
Ooh, Scott Brooks slander. All right.
I don't even think Wizards fans like Scott Brooks. I don't think I'm out of line for saying his rotations have been weird. Like Isak Bonga was in the rotation and then he wasn't in the rotation, and Troy Brown Jr. was in the rotation and he wasn't in the rotation. They've started like what feels like 12 different centers this year. Like it's been a weird, like Scott Brooks is doing Scott Brooks things. Like I don't know. I think there's some untapped potential for Troy Brown Jr. I don't think he's gonna develop into like Andre Iguodala or something, but I think there are some interesting skills that he may have a better opportunity of exploring in Chicago than he did in Washington.
Okay.
That's your nice way of saying I don't know what this guy's talking about. Let's move on. I'm higher on TBJ than you are. That's fine. That is fine with me. I'm going to ask you, while LA adjacent, how did you feel about the Rondo Lou Williams swap?
I was mad indifferent to that one. I thought it was funny because there was the whole Clippers need a point guard thing going for half the season, and then that point guard ends up being Rajon Rondo. And so I haven't heard much from that crowd since that trade. So it's been very interesting in that aspect. I mean, I guess Rondo will help them in the playoffs at some point defensively. I thought it was more interesting that they traded Lou Will so quickly, and it probably was an endorsement of either Kennard or Mann with the way they've been playing lately. That's kind of what I took away from it more than just acquiring Rondo. He should help the bench, but do you need Rondo, Pat Beverly, and Reggie Jackson? That's a very odd assortment of point guards that all kind of fit, but maybe it's just Pat Bev insurance. I don't know. I'm trying to grasp for straws here. Lou will just want to go home, so I guess.
I feel like that's a fine move for Atlanta, just to get another vet in there, another microwave scorer. They've had some guards in and out of the lineup, so having a guy like Lou that you can count on to give you 10 to 12 points on any given night, I think that helps. They got picks and cash out of the deal somehow, which is, I just didn't like this from the Clipper side. I'll just be honest.
Because of Rondo.
It's Rondo and the fact that they gave up so much for him.
Second round picks you can always get. You can always get one.
It's the principle, though, I feel like. Like, you traded for a worse player that didn't really fill your needs and gave up assets and cash on top of that to get him. And, like, the only benefit you really got was shaving off a little bit of salary this year to kind of get you away from the hard cap. So, if they add someone better than Rondo in the buyout market, which isn't a very high bar to clear, then you salvage it a little bit, I feel like. But just on the surface, does Rondo solve their rim pressure issue? I don't think.
He's a guy who can drive, get some paint touches. By the way, every paint touch from the Clippers the rest of the year, I'm just going to send it to you.
I mean, I will enjoy getting those 6 clips a game, sure. But,
I remember my thing. Thanks for the reminder in the chat, by the way. How do you look at trades as far as, does this fix a need or does this make this team better? There's no right answer. I'm just curious. Philosophy.
In terms of like what's more important, or
he said lemon pepper Lou. That's crazy.
But yeah, so what do you mean by that? Like,
so when you view a trade, when you see it, does your mind automatically go to, did this fix a team's need, or does it go to, did this team get better?
It kind of varies from where a team is. So, like for the Philly thing, I felt like they were kind of a piece short. They needed a dynamic pull-up threat to really bring all of their talents together. A guy that can work with Joel Embiid, a guy that can play with Ben Simmons to make him useful at the end of games. You can use him as a screener. They needed that dynamic threat. George Hill is not that. And with Philadelphia being so close, they're still towards the top of the East in terms of your contender list. So with them being so close, it's less about are they going to improve? It's can they close off this weakness? Because that's really what's keeping them from being that top tier team in the East. So for them, it's like I'm grading it a little bit harsher. I would say for other teams that aren't necessarily there, then I kind of look at how much better are you getting, because that's going to help you bump up a tier or make the rest of your roster make sense, if that makes sense.
I get it. I just find it interesting. I always like to see what perspective people are coming from when they think it, because sometimes you'll grade a move and say that doesn't fix the need, but it made them better in a different way, or it made what they do enhanced. So it's kind of a yin-yang effect. Are you ready to talk about your least favorite trade of the day? Because I know what it is.
Go. What is my least favorite trade of the day?
Norman Powell, Gary Trent Jr.
Okay, so first and foremost, I think the Clippers trade was definitely my least favorite trade of the day. But
my bad.
No, like I definitely, I'm just kind of confused.
Oh, what that mean?
Like, so the trade was announced, and I immediately tweet, I'm not sure I get this for Portland. And the most common response I get was, oh, well, Portland didn't want to pay Gary Trent Jr. And I'm just like, are we just not aware that Norman Powell is effectively an unrestricted free agent this summer? Like, he's not playing for $10 million next year with that player option. So I didn't get that portion of it.
Did you change your mind?
Not.
Ooh, they say you don't like West Coast teams. I'm gonna add that to the list. Hashtag Big Mad.
See, here we go again. I don't have any beef against West Coast teams.
Can you click on the thing that makes Big Mad go on the screen? Yeah, there it is. All right.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I didn't get Portland choosing to pay Norman Powell over Gary Trent Jr. Because I don't think.
That's interesting. Keep going.
No, like I think they get a little bit worse defensively. And I don't think Portland needed like a third scorer. I think Powell's going to give them another option offensively. He gives them a guy that can get downhill. So there's utility there. It's just the defense has been awful all year. So to trade a restricted free agent for another guy that's hitting the market that you're going to have to pay, and he doesn't help your defense at all, it's just kind of an odd bet. Like the Rodney Hood conclusion is kind of whatever, but
now that's the interesting point. Because no, Norman Powell does not fix Portland's needs, but he does make them better. In my opinion, I think you get an upgrade. I didn't like at first how much length they gave up on paper. I was like, ooh, that's a lot of wing guard guys. But as I revisited it, they cleaned up their guard wing rotation. It's tough to get all those guys minutes. So you got two of them out of there. You got Norman Powell. He can help the second unit. He could start. He can hopefully play with Dame and CJ, which I saw that question, and I think we should get back to that. Shooting the heck out of the ball. Like unbelievable shooting percentages as far as what he's doing from catch and shoot. I think 44.9% catch and shoot, 41.3% from three on pull-ups. Like he's shooting the heck out of the ball, and that's going to help Portland as a team who can generate double teams with Dame, but doesn't necessarily have the guys who can finish the play all the time. So I like that. And then defensively, I'm turning the corner on it. I felt like I was too strong on him not being able to play with those two. And I watched Toronto play Denver, and he was guarding Michael Porter Jr. to start the game. That kind of said a lot to me. Now, I don't think Portland has the same base Toronto has with their other two small guards, not the same kind of switchability. So it'll be interesting there. But I think if you're looking at simply this season, I don't think they were going to get anything more out of Gary Trent Jr. in the sense that once CJ came back, he kind of fell off a cliff in a sense. And like it didn't, for some whatever reason, it doesn't work. And then Rodney Hood just wasn't able to get it going. Shout out to Rodney Hood, by the way, who I think is a Blazers legend. They did chant his name after the playoff game, which is still one of my favorite Portland Trailblazer moments in history. But I like the attempt. Stabilize that second unit, because that second unit is usually just mellow post-ups, which you love. But you get Nasir some more playing time potentially. You open up some more room, some other guys. Maybe Simons gets in there. You don't have to play some of those guys. It kind of opens up some opportunities. So give it a shot. If those three are all going at the same time, you play them together, that's going to be tough to deal with.
Fair enough. I guess I would just have to see a little bit more of it. I do feel like Powell's in line for a bigger payday than what Gary Trent Jr. was going to get. And I also just kind of worry, Seth partnered with a good point about Powell's length.
Oh, Seth always has good points, man.
Seth's the dude, man. Seth's the dude. But I don't know. Like I do feel like even with the difference in size, I feel like there's a little bit of a gap between the two defensively.
You like Trent Jr. more?
I do like. I think I like Trent Jr. more. And I think he's going to look a lot better in Toronto now that he won't have to be tasked with guarding the players that he's had to guard in Portland because they didn't have any other options at times. So I'm pretty excited for him. I feel like this is a fantastic bet for Toronto. Like I think they end up getting a little bit younger. They save a little bit more money long term. Because again, I think Powell's going to get paid more this summer just for what he brings offensively. And I think being able to throw Lowry, Van Vliet, and Gary Trent Jr. out there is small. But then behind that is Pascal Siakam or is OG Anunoby or whoever they want to throw out in the back line. It's just a lot of feistiness on ball, a lot of switchability there. Like I think he's going to fit in fine defensively, and he's another guy that can shoot pretty darn well. So,
and he'll get the minutes. Gary Trent Jr. with minutes is a pretty good player, so it'll be interesting to see. That was a good question. Do you think Portland goes top 4? I know your answer.
Let me pull the stand. I'm going to say no off the top of my head, but let me make sure I'm not forgetting anyone. Utah 1, Phoenix 2, LA 3, and then the other LA team is 4. Denver's, but I can't go top 4. I think the Lakers slide, but the Nuggets pop in there.
You got the Nuggets at 4.
Yeah.
So now here's the question: is it Nuggets Blazers or Nuggets Lakers?
I think it'd be Lakers. I think it'd be Nuggets Blazers. I think Lakers slip to 6.
6, huh?
I just don't know what that offense is going to look like.
Marc Gasol handoffs. and a bunch of staggers.
Yeah. See, like you say that out loud, and I don't feel bad.
Hey, all right, we're not doing Marc Gasol slander.
It's
All right,
not
man.
Marc Gasol slander.
Nah.
Back up. It's less about not liking Marc Gasol. It's more about Marc Gasol should not be the primary trigger of an offense. Like those are two very different things. I love Marc Gasol.
He got to be right now, man.
That's the problem.
He's got to be.
That's the problem, though. That's why I think they're going to slide, because he has to be the primary trigger. That's not a good spot for the Lakers to be in.
I think the Lakers are going to win more games than people think. I have no real evidence behind that, so it's kind of a take. But someone called you in the chat hashtag Big Slander for slandering Big Spain. So, which is interesting because you love Spain pick and roll. So
I do love Spain. Like
Big Slander.
Marc Gasol is a good player. Like I don't dislike Marc Gasol.
It's no longer the narrative. What do you think? Looking at this game, what do you think about Thybulle? Do you think he's got enough offense to contribute now? Is his defense that valuable?
I think it's more of the defense being that valuable more than the offense. That's a good one.
I got called a Vogel truther. What's that even mean?
I don't know, but it's provocative. That's the quality stuff. But yeah, teams still don't really guard him like that. And I think that's a problem.
Are you still worried about Philly's second unit?
Yeah, because it's who creates shots.
Oh, is that what's his name? B-Ball Paul? Was that B-Ball Paul?
Oh, now you're calling him B-Ball Paul?
Oh man, I might have to. That was a nice little dribble handoff, roll the rim. He got a little juice to him. No wonder they got rid of Tony Bradley.
You're not gonna slander Tony Bradley on the show. What are we doing here?
Just did.
Should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh man. Ooh, how would you rate the top four in these? You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I'll say Milwaukee. Yes, I'll go Milwaukee 1, Brooklyn 2. I'll go.
This isn't standings, right? This is just personal feeling, right?
Yeah, personal feeling. Yeah. I'm torn between Miami and Philly at 3 and 4.
Oh, wow. The Philly. I'm surprised a little bit. No. Here's a more interesting question while you ponder that. Who's your number 5? I think everyone probably has the same top 4 in the East in some order or another. I think everyone has them. With Miami's moves, I think they definitely vault up there. Who is your number 5? Who is that team that you were like, you know what?
Like, I want to believe in Toronto getting healthy. Because, like, in theory, they have the roster, they have the coaching to do so. But they haven't been able to stay healthy. But also it's been weird all year.
Mine's the Knicks.
Yours the Knicks? That is very on brand. Why is New York your 5?
Of the teams outside of those 4, their ability to play defense, at least as a team, have a scheme, try and take things away, I trust the most and could probably cause the most problems. Now, they can't really score, and that's likely going to be an issue. But they can generate it between Randall, Barrett, maybe Rose gets hot. They can find it. They're going to move the ball. It's not always pretty, but they're going to keep moving it. So I think they could cause someone some issues, a problem. Boston, eh?
Okay, so I'm going to be honest. I can't get there with you on New York.
That's fine. I'm still waiting on your 5. You said Toronto. They're in 12th place.
Like, I want to believe in Toronto. I do. I guess it's Boston. just because they have the wings, they just added another score. I don't feel good about any of these teams.
No, I mean, I can see Boston. I like the Fournier move. I like what he can do offensively. Gives you someone you can actually have a presence with off those handoffs. He fits into some of the things Coach Stevens likes to run, and you can stagger your lineups a little bit more. And you finally have a small ball lineup that you can go to. You can just run the same thing you did last year, just move Fournier instead of Hayward. So I like it. They needed something. Now, the Tice deal was interesting. Do you think that was just a move, or you think that was, hey, yo, let's get Robert Williams some PT?
I think it was the latter, in which case I applaud it because I think Robert Williams is pretty darn good, and he needs those reps. There are still too many possessions a game where he's defending in space or trying to navigate the gap and drop, and it's kind of touch and go. But I think he needs to continue to get that experience. It's like within that front court rotation, nobody provides the vertical element that he does. And I think that's important for a Boston team that has struggled to generate a lot of shots at the rim. Like both of their star wings are very pull-up heavy, very pull-up dependent. Kemba Walker has looked better of late, but he still doesn't get to the rim with the same verve that he used to. So having a guy like Robert Williams to kind of suck in the defense, I think will make things a lot easier for everyone. I wonder what happens with Tristan Thompson at this point, though.
Do you really, though?
I mean, yeah, like in theory, this opens up more playing time for him since Tyson's out of there. Like he just becomes the second center. But I don't know if that's how good of a thing that is.
Oh, Moses Brown to the answer on the screen, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, we got a power ranking? That's fun.
Oh,
look at the brand.
Usually it. Let's see if I can find this. All right. Ooh, rank these guys overall. De'Aaron Fox, Shea, Ja. Oh, that's fun.
Oh, it was just a luxury tax move? That's what the comment section is saying. Okay.
Okay.
Well. There goes that analysis.
Fair enough. So how would you rank these point guards?
Oh, that's a good list. Who put that one together? That's good stuff. I have De'Aaron. No. Trey, De'Aaron, Shea, Ja, LaMelo.
Okay. I would go I go Trey, Shea, Fox.
You're gonna say something slanderous.
I don't think I'm gonna say anything slanderous. Like
you're gonna put Ja last. I can see it. You're gonna do it.
LaMelo is a little further along than I thought he was going to be. You know what? I'll go LaMelo over Ja. More size, more pull-up equity, a little bit better defensively, which is an indictment against Ja.
Yeah, look at this. The chat is lighting you up right now.
Shea Love on brand.
Hashtag big slander. There it is.
How is this slander? We'll rank 5 really good young point guards. Like somebody had to be last.
That's the hashtag. I'm just reading the hashtag. I can't.
I don't know if I like the hashtag.
That's interesting. What do you think? Because here's my thing with Ja. He's reached a level where I think I stand with Nekias in all caps. That's crazy. He's very talented. And now it's kind of waiting for the next step. But by waiting for the next step, it almost feels nitpicky. I wish he had more confidence in his in-between game. Like, that concerns me. When he comes off pick and roll and he can't drive, what's he going to do?
He's going to float.
He's going to shoot the floater. Okay, that's great. No defense is going to stop being in a drop. But it almost doesn't matter because he still gets the rim. He still gets a shot off. If you switch him, he still attacks and gets to the rim. So it's almost like I want him to do those other things, but I also have to appreciate what he's doing so far. which is really good still. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm in a conundrum with John Morant.
He's very, very good at getting to the rim. And he's very good at making passes. It does not feel like he has counters right now, which is year 2, so it's not a death sentence or anything like that. But it's a bit problematic that he just does not have any real version of a pull-up. Like, I would be fine if he had a pull-up elbow jumper as he continues to build things out. But he doesn't have that. It's get to the rim, try to dunk on somebody, or it's a floater, and Lord knows the Memphis Grizzlies love their floaters. But, like, he doesn't have – he has a good floater. He doesn't have a Trae Young of last year level floater. And I just think the bar for being an efficient guard without a reliable jumper is pretty darn high. And, like, he's an explosive leaper at the rim and stuff. He's not an elite finisher yet. And then you go to the other end of the floor, and what does he do defensively right now? Like, LaMelo at least gives you some off-ball value. I don't think Ja really gives you that yet. And he has the die-on-screen thing going for him. So I don't know. Like, again, I love Ja. I love him long term, but there are some pretty glaring holes in the game right now.
Oh, on that ranking that was on the screen, it was quickly THT, Maxey, and then Pritchard. That's what I had.
Okay, let me pull this back up.
Look at the memory.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'd say quickly THT, Maxey, Pritchard. Or I'll go Pritchard, Maxey, actually. I want to see more from Maxey.
What do you think about Dallas getting JJ Redick?
That was actually what I was going to ask you before we got the ranking comment. Sure. Like, there's an argument that they needed more shooting because the shooting definitely underwhelmed during the first half of the year. And I think they missed the type of shooting that Seth Curry provided. Just a guy that can kind of flow off screens and flow off handoffs instead of just being a spot-up threat. So getting JJ Redick to kind of replicate some of that movement shooting is important. But is he a guy that you can close games with? I don't think so. I think he's going to be hunted pretty religiously in a playoff series. And it still feels like Dallas is like a true wing short to me.
Josh Richardson slander?
No.
Oh.
Though Josh Richardson has not been as good as I thought he was going to be this year.
I knew it was coming.
Not completely his fault. Like, he did have COVID this year, so he's had to work through some things. But it's Richardson, it's Dorian Finney-Smith, and who's the other wing?
Luka.
I guess. But like that's just kind of my thing with that.
I like shooting. I like Dallas getting shooters, especially with how they like to play, what they like to do. I like him being able to shoot. I don't see it as Seth Curry 2.0 because you're not getting the off the bounce type stuff as much. But Tim Hardaway Jr. You forgot about Tim.
I mean, I was thinking about that more so defensively. But like THJ has been pretty good this year. So not meant to slander him at all.
I didn't say it.
I was just throwing it out there before you did say it. Okay. You know, I'm getting the hang of you.
Do you think Dallas gets out of the play-in? Do they can get to 6? 2.5 games out.
I did not know they were that close to LA.
Hashtag big mad right there.
fantastic content. You see what you do?
I think it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I would imagine you do think so. Man, if they're only 2.5 back of LA, they probably pass LA at some point.
So you got the Lakers in the play-in. Folks, write it down. Nekias Duncan, 10:04 Central Time on Thursday, March 25th, said the Lakers were going to be in the play-in game.
Just an instigator. I need that. I need that Supreme Dreams meme. Is what I need there. But no, I could see the Mavs in LA kind of duking it out for that 6th spot. Like LeBron being out 4 to 6 weeks changes quite a bit, man. Like that's just kind of tough.
Ben Simmons. Oh, who's the better? Justice Winslow is a better draft pick.
Justice over Josh. Like I think Josh has had a better career to this point.
It's an impossible question to answer. I just wanted to answer it.
I feel you.
I was trying to be polite.
It is for me to talk about Justice Winslow. It's an invitation that I will take. But no, I think Josh Richardson's had a better career. And then once you add in the fact that Justice was drafted 10th and Josh Richardson was drafted, I think, 40th in that same draft, like I think more value has been gotten out of Richardson just by virtue of the draft slide. I will say I'm happy that Justice is playing basketball again. It makes me happy. It makes me smile. We have another rank 'em before we get back into trade talk.
Ooh, I like this one. Scoring guards, just pure scoring, eh? I'm gonna go first. Schroeder's at the bottom.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with. We got some buckets on here. Schroeder's at the bottom. I will go with. See, Rozier and Clarkson are very similar. Yes, I do like every player ranking. Come on. I'm going Schroeder, Malik Beasley, Norm Powell, Terry Rozier, and then Jordan Clarkson.
All right. I would also have Schroeder last, so I kind of shelve it there. I think I go. This is a really good question. I'll go Rozier. Rozier, Powell, Clarkson, Beasley, Schroeder.
Okay. I am not ranking those guys as defenders.
Where's the fun in that?
There is no fun in that. LLLLL. Rozier can kind of do it. So never mind. I shouldn't be that like that.
I didn't respect the point of attack defense of Dennis Schroeder. Maybe not everything else, but the point of attack defense, you know.
What would it take for the Lakers to do before we get back to trades to be like, hey, they'll be okay? Outside of a trade.
How many roster spots do they have now? Is it 1 or 2?
Oh boy. All right. What was the next trade we had to talk about?
No, I'm saying like the answer is to add some shooting. But like if they have 2 roster spots, then they should add a couple of guys that can shoot on the buyout market. If it's 1, okay, so we got 2 in the chat. So if they have 2 roster spots, then yeah, add some shooting.
So if they bring in Andre Drummond and Wayne Ellington, what do you think?
I think Wayne Ellington would help quite a bit. I don't get.
Nope. We're not. Nope.
We're not doing
No. We gotta save. We need to save all that content for when he is actually signed to a team. We cannot waste a drip of that right now.
I need Andre Drummond signed before Sunday so we can really delve into this on the podcast.
I'm not prepared for that. Lemon Pepper Lou is the funnier nickname. Don't Google is not a funny nickname.
See, is Don't Google actually the nickname? I thought it was Never Google. That's what I always saw.
That's a good question. Chat, help me out.
Like, I'm pretty sure it's like Never Google definitely flows better than Don't Google.
Is Kyle Kuzma better when he's got the blonde or when he's just regular Kuzma? He's a better player when he's got the blonde hair.
Probably. I mean, he starts feeling himself. And see, there we go. We got Never Google in the chat. But we also have some pushback. Yeah, flowed into Evan 48 nickname talk.
Yeah, we did.
Christ, basketball references don't. I can't trust basketball reference nicknames, man. They have some nicknames for players I've literally never heard referenced. Like, there's some fan submissions in there, and it's just like if a group DMs were for people call a player something, like that isn't enough to register it as a nickname that should be recognized on basketball reference. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm with you on that. That last question with the worst scheme, someone asked a question earlier that was really good. I can't find it.
Hold on. Well,
I'm bad at stalling. It was something. Oh, I found it. It was the same person. Oh. I'm not saying her name though. So shout out to you, Jay. What teams have good offensive scheme, less talent, and what teams have bad scheme, good talent? What do you think? I'm gonna throw it to you first.
So good scheme, bad talent, and then bad scheme, good talent. That's your question.
Yes.
I
have the Hornets as good offensive scheme, less talent.
Okay, I can feel that. Like, I have an answer for good scheme, bad talent now, but I don't want you to leave the stream, so I'm trying to find an alternative answer.
Go ahead, say it.
You know, Minnesota. Oh, come on, man.
Nah, fam.
What is your beef with the Minnesota Timberwolves?
There's no beef. We just talk about them a lot.
I think all the
hashtag Nekias. Thank you.
Answer for your Chris Finch slander.
No, they've been fun. I like seeing what he's doing. A lot more movement, more cat at the elbow. I'm going to get all my Wolves talk out here on this live stream, so then it doesn't have to come out on the pod. It's a great strategy by me. But I like Anthony Edwards pushing it in transition, attacking that way, getting the ball a little bit more. I am very interested to see how much you love the Wolves once D'Angelo Russell comes back, and I can't wait to flip that.
He's back soon, is he not?
Yeah. What'd you think of Anthony Edwards? Got a short leash the other night. They were playing the Thunder. I saw he got pulled. It's interesting.
That would be a game that I have to catch up on then.
Yeah, you gotta look at that.
To the good folks at Instat. It makes it so much easier to watch games. It's great.
Oh, what a plug.
Hey, man.
I didn't get that email either.
Oh, man. You check the email. Like, I gotta shoot you that login so you can do that. Being able to watch games with no free throws, no dead balls, no commercials.
Here's the thing the league doesn't know. I'm only here so they can hire me to edit their games. Just hire me. I will make these games 50 minutes long. Y'all will have experts all over the place, but it's okay. Their condensed games are interesting, but it's okay.
That's the plug. All right. What other trades did you want to hit on?
Did we hit them all? The Marquise Chris.
No, I do want to ask you about the Corey Joseph DeLon Wright swap. Why is that the reaction?
I was shocked, but I'm
Why
here.
Why are you shocked?
I forgot it happened.
Oh well, I guess that was the reason to be shocked about it. But no, where are you at on that?
It felt like a move of guys that neither team really needed. Corey Joseph was in the way in Sacramento.
Yeah.
I mean, once Tyrese Halliburton's playing at this level, De'Aaron Fox takes another step, you don't really need Corey Joseph. I think DeLon Wright can help as far as being a guy who can play the two, maybe play with them as a three, kind of, quote unquote.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Probably be more helpful than Corey Joseph for Sacramento. For Detroit, seems pretty quick to move on, right? Or am I bugging?
No, I definitely get that. I like the trade for Detroit just because they were able to get, I think, 2 second-round picks out of it.
King of the second round.
I mean, the Pistons are very much in asset accumulation mode, and they are taking these swings. So, like, I definitely get making the play to get more picks in there, especially since I don't think there's a massive talent gap between DeLon Wright and Corey Joseph. Like, Wright's better, but not so much better to where you pass upon the opportunity to add assets while you're in the rebuild. And like with Corey Joseph being a vet, Killian Hayes is coming back soon. Like getting a guy with a little bit more experience at actually like running the offense, because DeLon Wright has always been more combo / off guard than traditional point guard. So maybe having Corey Joseph in Killian Hayes' ear could also help a little bit. Yeah, I think it's a fine deal for Detroit. And as you mentioned with Sacramento, like DeLon Wright is 6'5", 6'6". He can play 1 through 3 for you. So I don't think he's going to get in the way like Corey Joseph would, because Corey Joseph is very clearly a traditional backup point guard.
No. Yeah, I mean, Detroit said DeLon wrong, and Sacramento said Corey Joseph. What did you think of Lonzo not getting traded? He was all the buzz and then nothing.
I was a little bit surprised. You got some B pluses in the chat.
That's what I'm talking about. Passing grades. That's what we're going for. High GPA.
Oh, some lenient graders. I'm going to be honest with you. We need some more Russian judges in the comment section. But I am pleasantly surprised that New Orleans didn't move him. I thought there was just so much smoke around him, and I didn't think New Orleans would be willing to pay the 22, 23, 25 mil per year they would probably take to keep Lonzo. So the fact that nothing materialized or nothing good enough for them materialized is interesting. I love the long-term fit with Lonzo, B.I., and Zion. I do. So if they keep those guys together, if they make another move this offseason, if it's moving Eric Bledsoe, if it's moving Steven Adams or something that kind of clears the cap sheet a little bit, and they're able to keep Lonzo comfortably, I think that's the right move. Like, I think that's your top 3 as far as your young core is concerned. And you also have a guy like Kira Lewis, as I hope he gets more playing time in the second half of the season. Like, there's no real reason for him not to, I don't think. The Pelicans are just not a playoff team, in my opinion. So, see what you have in Kira Lewis. With Lonzo being the type of player that he is, that's a backcourt that you could probably play together long term. With Kira getting to the rim all the time, Lonzo can space, B.I. can space, or get to the rim whenever he has the ball, and then you know what Zion does. Like, I think you have a nice foursome there. See what you have in the young guys. I love Lonzo with this core. Like, just keep that together, make some moves around them, and let those guys grow.
Where would you have liked to see Lonzo the most? I had the Clippers.
The Clippers fit was interesting to me. Like, I think I like that more for that just sounds better on paper than it did in practice to me. Because again, it goes back to our earlier conversation about like fixing needs as opposed to getting better. Like Lonzo would make them better. Like I think he would juice that transition attack and stuff. But in the half court, he just doesn't pressure the rim enough. And this is, we've talked about the rim pressure thing with the Clippers on multiple pods at this point. Like Paul George defaults to pull-ups, Kawhi defaults to pull-ups and post-ups. That doesn't really free Lonzo in the way that another situation would. Not that it couldn't work, but the looks would just be a little bit different. The way that they would get to a Lonzo catch and shoot three would be a little bit different. I would have liked to see Chicago, honestly. I think with the amount of attention that Zach LaVine draws, and now you have Nikola Vucevic as well, like I think there were going to be a lot of opportunities for Lonzo to kind of finish plays as a shooter or just kind of connect actions. Having a built-in pick and pop guy with Nikola Vucevic, I think would have made it a little bit easier for Lonzo to get to the rim, especially against teams playing drop. So maybe that unlocks more of the corner skips and some of those just some of those kick out passes for him, and it keeps the offense going that way. New Orleans, there was really he's not very good at that, and there also just wasn't room for him to do that anyway with Steven Adams and Zion on the floor at the same time. So Chicago would have been a fun fit. Atlanta would have been a really fun fit. Miami could have been a fit just because they have Jimmy Butler as a guy that can get to the rim. And Miami's had no real issue generating open looks. It's been the finishing part that's plagued them all year long. So there's a fit there. And again, Lonzo would have been the guy to help juice the transition attack there. Maybe get Miami some easier offense since the half court has been sort of a struggle for them this year. So those are probably my three. I wrote about Lonzo. I also mentioned Memphis. That would have been fun. Lonzo would have been fun playing off of Ja Morant. Those are probably about 3 or 4 teams that I feel like would have been nice fits for him.
Just on the game, the Lakers ran a Schroeder-Caruso pick and roll to attack Korkmaz at the end of the half, and it worked. And that's where they're at right now. I don't mismatch hunting.
Like you say that, like I have no idea who that says the most about. I don't know if I should be.
They use Caruso to screen for Dennis Schroeder. Who's more important for the Lakers to get going, Wesley Matthews or Kentavious Caldwell-Pope?
I would say it's KCP, just because I think he's the lone guy that gives them that movement element. Like Wes Matthews is mostly a true spot up / catch and shoot guy. Someone's gonna have to attack the paint, draw the defense, and then kick it to him in the corner or something. KCP is a guy that's running off of staggers a lot. And he can kind of bend the defense that way if he gets going. So if you can get a 37, 38% KCP off of those types of looks, maybe the defense cheats up a little bit more, and that opens up some other opportunities for the offense. You have the defense scrambling a little bit because the Lakers are going to need every inch of advantage they can generate right now.
Are you surprised that Montrez and Dwight Howard got into a shoving match in the first half?
No, not at all. That's what Dwight Howard does, and Montrezl Harrell is never going to shy away from a shoving match. So that tracks.
Dwight Fowlered?
Did you even feel good about that one? Like, surely. You are getting sleepy. That's what this is. That's exactly what it is. We got a C- on the chat.
He's not wrong.
The guys, I watched Poku for the first time the other day. I see why you're hyped about him. We got a D+ in the chat on the pod.
Dang. All right.
Let's talk OKC. Why did your shoulders drop? What? Okay, let's have a discussion about this before we even go OKC. What is your beef with bad teams?
It's not bad teams. You just
What is your
fight
beef with
Howard. Oh, you're right. Fight Howard was right there. That's excellent. That's a good shot.
See, there you go.
Fight Howard's a good shot. That's a good look. No, it's just I think you really like young teams.
Oh, was that the whole?
That's the point. That's all I had.
I think young teams are interesting. Like young players are interesting.
Nothing wrong with that. I just like to harass you about it. Flight Howard, that was 2000. There's no flights anymore.
They're all grounded. We truly hate to see it.
All right, so what about to get some OKC talking? Let's hear about the potential of Poku and the confidence raising and Moses Brown rolling and Shea plantar fasciitis.
Wow, that was very condescending. That's kind of tough. That's kind of tough. I was very excited to talk about Poku's growth. We just talked about Teo Maladon not too long ago. Days out for a while, so I was interested to see what his on-ball development would look like. You just killed all of that for me. So thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Come on, man.
Nah, man.
What about Kenrich? Come on. I didn't say anything about your guy. I left it right open.
Unbelievable.
Come on.
You don't want to talk about Kenrich Williams, man.
I do, actually. I like his game.
Do you like his game?
Yeah. Two ways. I like what he can do on both ends of the floor. I think he can really help a team. And he's grown from last year to this year.
There's your Thunder talk. Do you feel better? Unbelievable. Just killed my enthusiasm for Thunder's talk. That's incredible.
Big mad.
I am big mad now. Yeah. Ty Jerome can't even make the burn list.
No. Actually, it's a good fit there. As far as being a playmaker, being able to shoot, he makes the plays. I like him there. I like their team. They're fun to watch. A little limited, but they play the right way. Who's going to have the better offense? The Lakers without their stars or OKC without Shea?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Ooh. I think it's going to be the Lakers. But also, if that's the bar for the Lakers, then they are really in trouble. There's the take. We are here. I do love that we're just like on opposite ends of the spectrum on big men.
We really aren't. I just end up having to defend the older generation because you come so hard at them. That's all.
I don't know if that's true. Like, I want bigs that can navigate space.
Well, you just don't see any value in bigs that can't move. I think that's fair to say.
I enjoy big men that can navigate space like this.
But some of these big men that can navigate space can't navigate a play.
Like?
Now I got to come with it. Mo Bamba.
This is true. Like, Mo Bamba's not very good.
My sock fell off. Hold on. All right, we're good.
See, this is the content that doesn't make the podcast, you see.
Yeah, there's no pause button here. Jackson Hayes. Ooh. I like Jackson, though. He's got to work on the awareness, but I like him.
I like Jackson on offense. He is a disaster on defense.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, write it down. We have the first big man slander of a young big in this season.
No. That's certainly not the first one.
That's the first one.
That's not the first one. We had a whole segment on Zion earlier this year.
Is he a big, though? Jackson strays. Good shot, NBA Johnson. You got to put that on the screen.
Yeah, that's some quality stuff right there.
That's a good shot.
No, like, I guess it's just a New Orleans thing. Like, Zion isn't very good at defense. Jackson Hayes is not good at defense at all. Who is New Orleans' best defender? It's a good question.
Steven Adams?
Is he?
I mean, who you got?
That's kind of even that's problematic if that's the answer.
You can't say Eric Bledsoe this year. Josh Hart, maybe? Josh Hart?
I was about to say maybe Josh. Oh, Lonzo. I could get down with Lonzo being their best defender. I think Lonzo's probably the answer.
So where we go? Lonzo, Josh Hart, top two?
Yeah, that's probably, yeah. Yeah, there's a comment. Zoe Hart, Steven Adams, your top three.
There we go. We solved the issue.
But man, that explains quite a bit.
Who missed on the trade? What team made the trade outside of the one you didn't like that you were just like, I don't know about that?
Let me pull up the trade list just to make sure I'm not forgetting anyone. I can't believe the Clippers gave up assets to trade for Rajon Rondo.
I said not counting that one.
I know, but like as I scroll the trade list, I simply cannot get over the fact that they did that on purpose.
The Warriors traded Bran Watermaker today?
Yeah, they traded him for the rights to someone. It's funny because we talked. I think we touched very, very briefly on Brad Watermaker during the podcast that we did with Marcus Thompson of The Athletic. So if you have not listened to that, check that out. But yeah, Brad Watermaker's been bad. So being able to get off of him and save some money is a good idea. I'm not sure what Charlotte wanted with him though. I guess the cash considerations, but I've got nothing there. I'm looking at this like there isn't really another bad trade. Like I think that's the one, unless you're discounting trades that didn't happen. Like Clippers deal is really the one.
That's fine. That's fair. The Rockets are taking big heat over the James Harden Hall. Did they do the reverse of Miami? You know, Miami, you can put the tweet out and say they turned this into that. What if you do it for Houston? What's that look like?
A trash can. Well, it's not even a trash can. It would just be like a bank statement. I think is what would be shown. Because that's what kind of kills me. Like Houston makes these trades and what I see is like, what is Houston doing? I don't understand what they're thinking. I'm just like, the thinking is very clear. Like the directive is very much, we want a clean cap sheet. That is priority number 1, 2, and 3. And if we can get some picks on top of that, then that's cool too. But they very much want to save money. Like that was clear when they had Karis LeVert and they're like, nah, give me Depot because he's expiring. And we can flip him again. And then they trade Oladipo and they trade him for an expiring contract and a guy that has a player option this offseason that's probably going to decline it because why on earth would he stay in Houston? So it's Tillman Fertitta has chosen to save money.
What'd you say? Tillman Fertitta?
Cheap man Fertitta. Quality. Oh, that's a good point. Didn't want Jared Allen either. And Jared Allen's going to get paid this summer. This offseason.
I mean, they probably didn't want to. I mean, Frigalita.
Some good stuff.
Oh, we're going into silliness. Are you watching Inside the NBA right now? You getting big mad?
Oh no.
Shaq, latest takes. Chuck, what Chuck said?
I have no idea. I have been looking at the stream, and my television is muted as it would be anyway during TNT games. So I don't know. If there's any foolishness, I'm sure I'll catch a clip of it on the timeline, or I'll be tagged in. That's the thing, because like I feel like I had this stretch of consecutive like TNT broadcasts where I'll quote tweet something. I'm not looking for this.
It was 7 straight weeks.
Whatever it was, that seems dramatic, but whatever it was, like it's genuinely, like, it's not me. I'm not seeking it out. Like I don't watch the program. I don't follow I don't follow the account. It's Shaq or whoever will say something ridiculous, and then I'll get tagged in it, and then I'll watch, and then I'll react to it because I've been tagged in it. So I'm not seeking out the content. Do they actually have Chris Webber on tonight? Oh, we finally Mark Spears just tweeted out the return for the Brad Watermaker trade. So that's fun.
Wait, he just did that right now?
Yeah, he just did that.
Come on, Mark.
So the Warriors traded Brad Watermaker, a 2022 second-round pick and cash considerations to the Hornets for a 2025 second-round pick, and it's top 55 protected. So they basically gave away Brad Watermaker and a second in cash.
I think Warriors fans erupted.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good deal for Charlotte. And that's how Charlotte was able to just take them in because they still had a little bit of cap space. I think that's what that was. But okay. Shaq, Candace, Weber, and someone else. Okay, so no Barkley tonight? That's interesting. But anyway, we can wrap this up shortly. Are there any
We've got some questions. Chat, what you got? What we got? 7 people left in the chat. I can't see the numbers.
We have 40 people watching right now.
Oh, thank you. The 40.
Yeah, so we peaked. I mean, I think a lot of people definitely came for the good stuff and dipped out with games being on, which is understandable because we peaked at like we were at like 150 something.
Oh wow!
Yeah, like we had quite an audience. So
what a vibe!
Yeah, so this is definitely something we can build off of and do a little bit more often moving forward. All
right, chat. Let's rapid fire answer their questions. Throw them on the screen.
There we go. Nets' biggest need.
That's a Nekias question right there. Am I wrong?
Nah, more Nick Claxton. That's my answer. What would be your answer, sir?
Better defense.
So more Nick Claxton. Cool. Why did David Griffin give Lonzo's extension money to Steven Adams? That's a darn good question. I will say I didn't understand the need to extend Steven Adams when they first got him. Like, I'm not sure why they had to do that immediately, and now that's looking worse because New Orleans has underachieved.
Chat, how old is Steven Adams? Can someone look that up for me?
Steven Adams is like 27 or something.
How old is Steven Adams? 27, all right. Doesn't fit in the bit. See,
this is what I'm saying. Like, come on, man. Do you have Steven Adams thoughts?
No.
You just wanted to throw in a jab. Okay, got you. But now we actually give Sixers a chance against the Nets.
Yes.
I think so. Like, I think Philadelphia defensively, they have the bodies to match up. The issue, like, I don't question if the Sixers could hold the Nets below their offensive rating. I question if the Sixers can score enough in the half court to actually win those games. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if a Nets-Sixers game had the Nets scoring like 106 or 107 points. But if the Sixers are only scoring 102, that doesn't really do it for me. Like, Kyle Lowry gives them a better chance of outscoring them enough in the half court to win those games. So, again, George Hill is going to help solidify that second unit. He just doesn't solve the big thing for them. That's just kind of what I'm with.
I feel it.
All right. Yes or no to a Pacers mini rebuild?
Is that like the current one they're in?
I guess that's another question.
Because I like Karis LeVert. I like adding him to what they're doing. That keeps me around. That's about it. And TJ McConnell. Shout out to him.
TJ McConnell, who I think showed up on the NBA.com Defensive Player of the Year ladder this past week, which is a thing that could happen. Though that list also included Jamal Murray at some point. So that's
hashtag big mad.
That could actually be a big mad once we. I'm not about to get myself in trouble on this stream. I'll talk to you about that off stream. But,
the playmakers. Moses Brown.
What we got?
He's raw. He's raw right now. Defensively, I'm a little shaky as far as maybe being in the right spots at times, but I like the potential. I like the potential of what he's doing. I think they should just give him all the minutes, let him see what you got.
He is a large human being, so I'm intrigued to see. I just want to see what the development is going to be like. It's easy to see the building role as a roller that has the size to be a rim protector. I want to watch a little bit more OKC to get a better feel for him because he's pretty fresh into the rotation, or at least as a starter. So I want to watch more of him before I give a firm take, but he's intriguing. Can the Jazz go small or switch more? If not, does that concern you?
Can they go small? Yes, but how small do you really want to go when you have Rudy? I think that's kind of the problem. I think the hope would be let's get him to a point where he can counter those small lineups and defend rather than being able to downsize. I'm trying to think, what would you do? I mean, you could go Ingles, Bogey, O'Neal, Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell if you really wanted to and just get wild with it, but for the offense.
Okay. I mean,
they're not gonna have a good small ball defense lineup.
Yeah, that's now that you bring this up, like it is kind of concerning that I don't know if they can go small. Like I don't think they have a good small ball lineup.
I mean, they can throw Yang out there. I mean, you can go Claxton. They can make it work.
Could they though?
I mean, the question is, they may not have a small five. That may be the issue. But
like, that's what I'm saying. Like Royce O'Neal is already small at the 4.
I mean, hey, if you're gonna go small, go small. But I don't think it'll get to that point. They trust their bigs. They trust Rudy. I'm more concerned with how they deal with switching.
I feel that. Going back to an earlier question, Sixers versus Heat.
I still don't like the matchup for the Heat for whatever reason. Philadelphia's length causes them problems. I don't know why. I'd rather Miami play Milwaukee again. Oh, how many threes does Danny Green have tonight?
How many does he have? Is that a rhetorical question?
6 for 8, 22 points.
Oh, okay. It was rhetorical. Okay, good for Danny Green.
Yeah.
Was that so? What was that? Was that a gotcha of some sort?
Nah, I was just watching the game. He just hit a 3.
Okay, good for Danny.
It's a simulcast. You know the logos.
All right. Sixers Heat. I need to see it. I need to see Miami on offense a little bit more with this new talent. Because it felt like they played pretty well tonight and they still scored 100 or whatever it was. So like the offense still wasn't that great. I guess it's kind of Philly by default right now. I think my take is that Philly has a higher floor and Miami has a higher ceiling. Just because they have more shot creators on the roster.
Okay.
And their defense is already good.
Okay.
So I'd say if they played today, well, I guess if they played today, they wouldn't have Embiid. So but like at full strength that they played today, I'd probably take Philly.
Okay.
But I'll see what Miami looks like over the next month or so.
Man. Yes, I do.
I think he's going to continue to get better at it.
Yes.
How much better is a fair question. I think that's going to depend on where he is next year moving forward. If there's New Orleans, they're definitely going to have to make some sort of move in the front court. It was always odd to me that New Orleans didn't push harder for Miles Turner when he was available, like before the season. And I feel like Miles Turner would have been a fantastic fit for what New Orleans wants to do.
You love putting Miles Turner on New Orleans.
Yeah.
Well, New Orleans Miles turned it down.
Okay. Finals matchup and champion, sir.
Oh,
you win it at all.
Finals matchup and champion. F. Someone give me an F. Hold on.
As they should. As they should.
Hey, a whole F though.
Yes.
Right as of right now.
Yeah, what you got?
I still think Lakers Nets. I don't have a champion yet, but Lakers Nets.
Lakers Nets as of now. I feel like the responsible answer for me is Lakers Bucks. I mean, the Lakers are going to get healthy at some point.
Well, part of your answer has to be Bucks because you're well established on the record of saying the Bucks are coming out of the East.
I do, in fact, think Milwaukee's coming out of the East.
We got Utah, Milwaukee, TV network's dream.
Nah. I'm not going to go Utah. My take is that I have more faith in Phoenix than I do Utah. Well, that's one of my takes. But, yeah, I'd say Lakers Bucks right now.
Okay.
Assuming Bran and Brown come back, like I think they still get out of the West. And I just trust Milwaukee. I may end up on the Summer Jam screen this offseason, but wouldn't be the first time. We'll see.
What's the next one? What we got?
Let's see. Who else do we have?
We need like a timer on here.
We do. We'll try to work that out for the next one.
Yeah, the Dunker spot shot clock. It's kind of wordy.
Well, we can fit it in there somewhere.
Oh gosh! Oh my gosh! You just started a whole Bucks topic. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
The comment literally just popped in. You're looking at the ticker just like I am. This
is playing. We had a whole question.
You saw
slow starts. Nick Claxton. This man zoomed right to the Bucks.
A little bit. We can let's go back up. You know I don't mind talking about Nick Claxton. Hold on. We can scroll right back up.
No, Charlotte does not fall out of the play-in. I think Charlotte is closer to in, but I don't think they're out of the play-in. I'm going randomly before we get to this Bucks sequence of events.
I'm trying to find the question. I saw it earlier. But... I mean, you just answered the show. Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so I don't think they fall out of the play-in either.
What do I think has changed with Milwaukee this year that makes them better? They're more flexible on both ends of the floor a little bit. So they're trying things. That's the biggest thing. I'm still very worried about them in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. I'm very worried about that. There's not a lot of creativity, and the lineups have to be a little bit better. So, but Drew over Bledsoe is a pretty big upgrade. But I could see the Bucks offense falling apart in the playoffs. I mean, what happened last night against Boston? There's so many things they could do, and they just won't do them. And I'm just like, why? Why?
Yeah, that fourth quarter was ugly. And I almost threw my phone when Chris Middleton tried to throw the lob to Brook Lopez. And I'm just like, brother, you just need a single. You don't have to swing for the fences. Like, you have the lead. It's fine.
Cooked Lopez, in the words of Nekias.
That's not a thing that I said. How do you think PJ Tucker's looked so far?
Pretty good. I want to see more. as he gets healthy and Bud plays him more. I want to see more. I like what he brings. We haven't seen that lineup that I want to see yet, but or at least I haven't seen it. But I like what he's doing. Switchability, corner threes, activity. I mean, he's there for a reason and he shows it. They called that man Broke Lopez.
Broke Lopez. Oh no.
I love Brooke. Don't do that.
You started. You see, you tried to throw in the Brook Lopez slander and attribute it to me, and now look what happened. Now we got more slander for Brook. So who really won here? Now we got Brick Lopez on the screen. See, you started a whole Brook Lopez chain. You have no one to blame but yourself.
He's great. I love Brook. He'll be just fine in the playoffs. James Harden's right hand. Driving right. Just remember that. Bookmark that one, folks. They're going in.
Brooks Lopez. We got broken, brick, and Brooks Lopez.
This is bad. This is unfair.
Oh man, we're gonna end the stream with Brook Lopez slander.
No, we gotta find something else. How are we gonna end this?
Yeah, let's find a good closing question. Just to answer the Harden question real quick. Yeah, the percentages do not tell the whole story with him. Just about all of his looks are high difficulty looks. Everything's off the dribble or some sort of step back. The ratio of catch and shoot looks and off the dribble looks heavily skew to the off the dribble stuff. So, James Harden shooting 37% from three is not. He's really like a 44, 45% from three just by nature of the difficulty of the looks. So, yeah, I think he does get undersold as a shooter.
Oh, actually, let's end it. Let's end it with the 2 power rank the playmaker ones.
All right.
Because there's another one up here. I forgot what it was. I'll try and find that one. Oh, I found it. What's the difference? The difference is one player. I can't figure out which one it is. Oh, one has Steph, one has Harden.
Okay, and if it's a playmaker question, then let's just throw Harden in there instead of. I mean, he's a better passer. I don't think that's a take.
Ooh, no, I'm not gonna go there. I'll go first.
Right.
I will put on this list Trey at the bottom. I'm gonna put Luka next. Wow. Then it gets hard.
Mm-hmm.
This is a slanderous list. This is a great list. This is a great question.
Go ahead and do it.
I'm getting there. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Ooh, they're all so good at it.
Go on.
I'm going to go Harden, Jokic, LeBron.
Didn't feel good about that one.
Not a single bit.
All right.
Now I jumbled my order so that no one knows it.
You went 5-1. You're not fooling anyone.
See, look at the question.
Unbelievable.
Man of mystery.
But all right. I would also have you know what? I will go. I want to go Luka 5. I'll go Trey 4. I will go.
I had James Harden 1, by the way, to answer that question.
Oh, okay.
I had Harden, Jokic, LeBron 1, 2, 3.
All right. So yeah, I say Luka 5, Trey 4. Harden 3. I'll go Bron 2, Jokic 1.
So you're saying he's James hardly making plays?
And with that, I thank you all for joining the first official Dunker Spot live show. Thank you for rocking with us. If you haven't already, subscribe to the Dunker Spot. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on Google, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast. Our podcast from Monday is still pretty fresh. You can listen to Steve dunk on me about Blake Griffin's debut if you'd like. My Raptors concerns, a lot of good stuff on the episode from Monday. Earlier today, we dropped a Warriors-themed episode with Marcus Thompson of The Athletic. Oh, that's some good stuff. But earlier today, we dropped the podcast with Marcus Thompson of The Athletic to talk all things Warriors, how he's felt about Steve Kerr, the development of James Wiseman. Just if it's a Warriors topic, we covered it a little bit. So check out that podcast as well. We will be back recording on Sunday, dropping another episode on Monday. We'll try to figure out a schedule for more live shows since I do think this is something we can build on. Can also clean up some things. But
it's a vibe, man.
It is, in fact, the vibe.
Well, I think it'll be easier when it's not massive trade deadline reaction.
Yeah. So we'll sort it out. But until then, thanks for rocking with us again. Another episode's drop Monday, so make sure to subscribe, catch up on the pod episodes that you haven't listened to. And with that, we will catch y'all later.